Let's see, it is Wednesday, July 10th, 2019. We are calling the Economic Development Committee meeting into order. Today we have 3 members here, 2 are out. It's been probably we didn't do the last one, so it's probably been about 2 months roughly since we actually met. Today, from an agenda perspective, pretty high level. I want to give you guys some updates on some of the progress and the status on the projects over on Route 16 on Davis Street. And besides that, we can leave open topics after that. So those are really my 2 big things I had for today. Anybody else have anything you want to put on the agenda?
Not really. These are your budget statements.
Yeah, I think I got an updated one last time, so good.
I pulled them out of the mailbox.
Thank you.
It looks like we've got more money for starting. It's like $3,500.
Yeah, so there was a request to actually up us from last year because some of the economic development around the Davis Street stuff might have required us to help facilitate some other things. So that was what the actual extra budget that we actually put in for was. So yeah, we have approximately, we have about 624, maybe about $5,000 roughly, a little under 5.
Spending 1,000.
Yeah, we actually already had to spend on advertising during the town meeting. We had helped to facilitate some of the property conversion from residential over to industrial. That was part of the whole planning situation, so we actually were charged back for advertising on us because it was our request to do it. So, but that's fine, minimal. I mean, we got it done.
As long as we have enough money to pay for it.
Exactly. So anything else on the agenda you guys want to add, or no? Okay, cool. As far as notes from last time, it's been a while on the notes. I don't know if it's worth it to even review them.
The last notes I have here are in April. Has it been that long?
You were not at the one before after that, I think. Yeah, it was a small group. It was like Carol, Bob, and...
So are they still relevant notes? Do I need to know?
I was going to say, probably don't worry about those at this point. Okay, updates on the developments that I'm aware of. Bob obviously is the one driving 99.9% of this. So obviously what we've been working towards is bringing all of the properties behind Granutech together. And that has already been accomplished. So that was driven by Andy over at Pine, who actually pulled that together. So he's now the legal owner of that. There's actually an old new player back in the picture, which is the original grower that we were discussing back in the day with the really large footprint warehouse grow facility, a 1 million square foot. Yeah. It's not going to be the same one at the original plan, but there's going to be probably a different setup now that he is working with Andy on that property right now.
Similar size?
2 facilities, I think, now based on potentially fitting maybe the warehouse with the grow facilities. So they would not be like 1 million square foot grow facility. It would probably be like whatever, 2 smaller ones would be put into there. But when I say smaller, I mean like, let's just say possibly 300,000, 400,000 square foot times 2. It's still going to be big. They're not small. All right, there's still 2, and they may be a little smaller, but you get the idea. They're 2 very large facilities. So they are actually working actively right now on that whole setup over there. We're waiting to see where that goes. All the wetland survey was completed and done and passed, so wetlands are not a concern over there. The original mapping matches the new surveys, which is all a good thing at that point, because then we can go off of where the maps are at.
So you can have access to it?
So it appears like the original plan still is very viable now. So right now they're working through some legal stuff and some of that with the land and whatnot, but I think there is also a plan to have them at, the grower will come into the town meeting, I think, Board of Selectmen meeting, I should say, in one of the next 2. Don't have that locked down yet, but somewhere in the next probably 4 weeks or so, the grower will stand up in front of the Board of Selectmen and start discussing his plan.
Will we know this ahead of time?
Oh yeah, Bob will know. He thought it was going to be this week. It didn't work out to be this week. It was actually supposed to be before July 4th. Didn't work out then. So it's pushing out, but it shouldn't be that far out. They're just waiting for some of the legal paperwork to get through.
I'd like to go with that.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be good if we're actually all there. So we'll let you guys know. I might not be in town. I'll deal with that later when the time actually comes, but it's just travel for work. So Those are the big updates right now. They're still in process, still looking good. We would like to see activity on that site probably by end of year at latest, is what we'd love to see something try to get through, but there's a lot of caveats in that. The good thing is the warehouse versus the grow facility potentially does not need the same water and sewer setup because they actually don't have as much waste and water demands the way they have it set up. So they can actually live off of well and septics, which should make the impact that we had to go through with town water and sewer might be negligible, at least for phase one of this, to actually get maybe the grow facilities in before that warehouse. Because the warehouse, a 1 million square foot warehouse needs a lot to actually pull that one off. So that's probably the quicker route to building. And those are the last updates I actually received from Bob as of this week.
Yeah, the last meeting I was at was when we had joint with the selectmen,
Yep.
which was,
But that was with Rob Wolf.
yeah,
That was a different grower.
yes.
So he's more of that guy that goes around, helps small land convert to like
Right.
30 to 50,000 square foot, grow facilities versus this other person that's the larger ones in the state.
So this would be a similar meeting to that with this.
This would be similar with probably even more details because this guy wants to come in with potentially possibly already having some of the land rights, if not working through that with the current owners and whatnot. Like he's actually going a little further than I think Rob even did coming in with his concept. Rob was more introducing the concepts that he works with, the type of warehouses, the size of the lots, the potential income type of thing. This guy, as far as I understand, is going to come in with a much more well-defined specific project plan behind it. So, which is exciting.
Same property?
It's that big one behind Granutech. I'm still talking about the behind Granutech. Remember, behind there, I think there were like 300 acres, or it was a fairly large area. So that's why that potentially can handle warehouse plus these grow facilities if they're designed properly on the site and all that goodness. So that's what they're working through right now. So, and at some point, obviously, this grow person would have to also deal with host agreements with the town, with the selectmen. There's a very long leg behind even just getting in front of them for the first time that they're going to have to go deal with. And the host agreements, as I think we know, are very key to any of these cannabis growing situations. So we're going to learn more in the next few weeks. So keep our fingers crossed. I mean, it's a huge boon to the town, right? These facilities are not small, and they can bring in decent to really, really amazing revenue, depending on many factors. So,
Yeah, it's got some good possibilities. I guess the money that we'll get from it is significant.
I mean, you could be talking hundreds of thousands to many millions. There's a very big span. I mean, if you were thinking just the 1 million square foot warehouse could have brought in itself like 2 to 3 million. That was not even the grow facilities. That was the warehouse. So that's a different situation. These facilities could bring in, again, hundreds to millions on their own. So I would say we probably have a few years. This is going to be a multi-year activity. It's going to be probably, in my mind, 2 to 3 years to probably get this thing fully built out, operationalized, fully taxable and realized, but that's not that long.
It sounds like there's many, many options. Like
There's a lot of active options right now,
several.
which is good. Bob's done an amazing, amazing job just wrangling these cats. He's cat herding is what he's doing right now. So.
Sure, but
So that was my quick update on that. No other movement with the town water and sewer at this point. We're still talking to them on the side separately. There was a discussion around needing gas in that area. That's still up in the air at this point, how that would even be pulled off. TBD on that. There's a lot of question marks around some of those things, but they're not all necessary to pull off the grow facility. So they're more for the warehouse if we were going to do the 1 million square foot warehouse.
yeah. Okay.
Questions or?
No, I'm good on Davis Street.
Okay.
Yeah, up Granutech's got Wolf Solar in it now.
I know. And actually, I reached out to them. I actually was on the phone with them today. I want to go try to meet the owner because they're actually doing a really good job commercializing themselves, getting the name out there, marketing. So it's good to have them in town. I think it adds another name to Douglas.
That's right, they had a good write-up in the paper when they announced that they
Oh,
were
yeah.
moving in. That was probably back in April or
Yep.
March or something like that.
And I drive by there literally every day because that's where I go out from Monroe Street. So for me, I literally face them every day. I'm like, I got to call them. So I finally got a hold of them. So
Yeah, the sign is up, warehouse space available or space available,
yep.
and that's for other parts of the building.
That was actually the second building, not the first building. That's in the
Okay,
back.
down and back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I've been in that one. It's got some office space and it's
Little office space,
Machine shop.
very large, just open
machine,
warehouse
Place,
style
warehouse.
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's got good possibilities.
I still think my unicorn in the town, which we still have not done a good job capitalizing on, as we all know, is the corner of Gilboa and North Street with Dan Heaney's property. That's like the one that stares us in the face. When you drive by, it's like, why isn't there anything in this field?
Yeah.
I continuously, when I get a chance, I call and send emails off to supermarkets, pharmacies. I'm always out there just trying to poke, but still can't get a bite on it. But we need something there. So we just got to figure out
Stand. Some
a lemonade
Girl
stand.
Scouts,
There you go.
You know?
That's what we need. That'll help a lot.
Well, you know, we did read the CMRPC study that we got, right?
We did, and actually, yeah.
You read it, I read it, I thought it was pretty darn good. And they surveyed what businesses we needed or came up with what kind of businesses the people in town want. And drugstore, supermarket, all the ones we're familiar with.
Those are the common
we
ones.
need. And if we could only get one of those down the
Well, both
corner
of them
there.
get a supermarket with a drugstore built in. It's
Yeah.
one of those like combos you usually see all the time. So we just got to find. I've literally emailed Shaw's, Dave's, Stop and Shop, Price Chopper. I went all the way to what's the one that's something Brothers with an R, Roche Brothers.
Roche Brothers,
They won't come this way because they stay close to 495 and 95. Dave's is more of a Rhode Island one. I'm just thinking out of the box because we have a Shaw's in Hannaford right here. Market 32 is right up the road.
When you're reaching out to them, who are you looking
I'm emailing off the websites to their real estate departments.
Okay.
I'm going for the people that are looking for land for them. That's the only ones to do. But I'm staying active on that, and you never know. If you guys want, that's one of those things that in your spare time, if you just think about it, it can't hurt to have multiple people pinging them. We have all the traffic statistics. We have all the numbers, and we can easily get them in touch with Dan, who owns the property, obviously. So.
So getting back to the study that we all looked at it.
Yep.
Where was the access to that? Was it on the web someplace, or was it an attachment?
It was here. We did
No, there was an attachment too.
Yeah,
It
I
was
read
an
it.
email.
Yeah, I didn't see it when it was here, but it was an email.
It was an email attachment from Dominique. And actually, she's emailed us about doing phase 2 of that, which I actually owe her a reply back. So we're going to be able to extend that and continue with them because the state was basically paying for this for free to do these phases. So I got to get back in touch with her to continue phase 2. And phase 2 is actually beginning the go select the sites like this North Street Gilboa and start to have them help us to draw attention to it. So that's one of our things. And actually, I could use help on that if you guys are interested in poking on that one with me. I can add you guys back to the email. It's myself and Bob and Bill right now, Bill the engineer. I can add you guys back into that, and if you guys can help wrangle that one, that would be really good.
What would our wrangling involve?
Following up with her, having a discussion.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can get on the phone with her and just figure out what next steps are. I haven't had a chance to, honestly.
I think the report itself would be good to give to prospective businesses or even our existing businesses in town, you know?
Yep. Well, we can post it on the website too.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's an easy one. We can easily post that.
Yeah, it's public money, so we may as well. make it
Yeah, we
public,
should be
you know?
posting that. So we can take, so Luke, take a note on that one specifically. Action item on that is to post that. I have to do that because I have the access right now, but post CMRPC updated study on the website, town website.
Yeah. Now, the question she had asked us, is it adequate, or is it okay? Got any comments? So they were about to issue it or make it finalized or something like that. So I guess it's okay to post on the website.
Yeah, once we get the final, then it'll be good to post it. Yeah, you have to, I think, with that one, because it was a state study, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, on our website would be a good spot.
So, do you want to call Dominique? Or do you want me to
I'll add you guys to the email, and you figure it out from the email. The two of you guys can deal with that in the email.
duke it out?
Yeah.
I mean, just check with her for the latest
Yeah, see what the next
it's
steps are.
And see what the next steps are. Yeah. She calls it phase 2, and I don't know what phase 2 means right now.
Phase 2. It sounds exciting. I'm excited
So-
about it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
Before these projects came about, these larger projects, what was the EDC really doing? Are there smaller things that we can do on a quick win kind of level that are also helpful?
There are things that I've let go by the wayside that Paul and I were doing. Paul taught me when I first joined up, and things like the Facebook page. We were doing Facebook, like just highlighting people in town. Like
we
Solar Wolf, go meet them, write a little article, post it to the Douglas Facebook page, the Douglas EDC Facebook page. Things like that.
Okay.
Those are simple ones.
Yeah, we tried to do one a month, or one every couple months. But then,
It died off
and
finally.
we did quite a few for a while.
I was gonna say, Paul had us going, and then
Yeah.
it kind of died.
Well, we do have some budget, right? Is there anything that we can do with that to draw people into town for the businesses that are here for some
So
reason?
that, interestingly enough, was a conversation that we did have at one point, if you remember. We were going to hold an event. I think Phil was still on at that point. This was a while back. That we talked about doing some type of a let's go figure out how to bring some developers to town event. But I have to say, right now, with the things going on the properties over there, and knowing the Pine site, and they're not really needing a developer to go in there because they have developers in there like Andy and others. I don't know if it's a wise use of money to do that specifically,
Right.
but there might be some other event we can do, and I don't know what that would be.
I don't know, working with the farm or something like that, just a small, like, community town thing to get people
So
spending money.
brainstorm. So this is probably a good AI for you and us in general, but brainstorm on things that we actually could use the budget for, and maybe come the next meeting, which is the first week in August, we can go and maybe come up with some ideas. And
Okay, how much of the budget do we need to keep for
I was going to
reserve?
say, assume that we can spend maybe $2,000 out of it,
Okay.
which is still a decent amount. I mean, depending on what
Yeah.
you're looking to do.
And maybe there's nothing, but we
We used to only have a $1,000 budget, so the fact that we have a
know.
$5,000, we can actually.
It was like $3,000, but then it got cut down to one or 1,500.
And I'm not
or
even saying we
something
can
like
use
that.
it because we got to still see if we need to hold it over for some of these other things that we're doing. But let's at least brainstorm and see where it's at. And if we have money left over, we can always do that.
We did advertise in one of the magazines or newspapers, what's it, the Northeast Business Journal or something like that?
Yep, we talked about that again.
And that was
we have any-
expensive.
Are
but
there any metrics to see if that was fruitful?
I don't think anything really happened.
Nothing came of
with
it.
it.
Those are very tough. You do
How would you
one
measure?
single little something somewhere, it's not going to drive that much. I think online advertising is the best way of going typically, but even then you got to be very targeted. I've done Facebook advertising. We've talked about that, but that's like $7, $30 a shot for like a few weeks just to highlight Douglas. It's not specific to like we have this property. Go after that. That's what we would probably do if you do advertising. Is you would enable like Dan Heaney and some of the other properties that we have available in town, and you try to put a campaign to draw prospective buyers. Or
Yeah, like maybe
developers
we
to
use
that.
some of that budget to take nice drone video of the property and stuff like that, and put together an actual real estate listing. Say, come put
Yeah.
your business here.
A listing of potential business properties in Douglas, maybe, you know?
That actually is something vital. So these are the ideas that we probably need to document and come up with them for August. Because I also want to get Carol and Bob's opinions. So
August.
So next
it's
meeting.
the first
first week in August.
week in August, and it would be Wednesday, right?
Yes, it's always Wednesdays. First Wednesday in August. Unless we have to move it because of quorum, so we can figure that out when it gets closer.
First Wednesday.
By the way, Luke, you sent off this letter, which looked pretty good.
Yes. Thank you for taking care of that, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, much
Hopefully
appreciated.
you'll get some money out of it, or some funds to do economic activities.
Yeah,
Yep.
The SWC, EDO.
somebody's gonna get it. Might as well be us.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I mean, you know, I was thinking about some of the businesses we have in Douglas, which probably we don't really recognize too much. And over on West Street, you got the medical place where they've got the doctors, UMass doctor's office,
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Miller, and then they've got
Quest.
diagnostic like Quest is over there. And, you know, there's no real publicity except it exists, and
Do they want publicity? Because that's not like.
I don't know if they wanted it.
Yeah, I'm in the mode, which is why I think probably I've let some of them go by the wayside. I'm in the mode of how do we grow revenue,
Yeah.
not just do some of that, which we have the downtime, we can pull some of that off, obviously. But that's a good question. I actually visited a business, I will not name them here because I don't want to, it's on camera. But they are not interested in having us highlight them and stuff. I was very adamant about that.
We'll do
So,
our own advertising. Yeah.
no, it's not even that. They just didn't feel like they wanted us to. Long story short, they didn't want us
Doesn't
to.
matter. They don't want to.
Yeah,
So
so that's what it came down to. So, but let's figure out if there is something else that we need to do.
Yeah, we tried we've tried a bunch of things over the years, and we even did a lot of work. Hal Davis, when he was on the commission, did a lot of work on the west, the Webster area, when we almost got a big box.
Well, I think Bob has the. I like Bob's style, in that he he will always stay after the people when he gets a hold of them. He just went after and just
He's focused.
He dialed.
Yeah.
He called people consistently, and he got 2 people on the hook, and it just grew from there. For me, economic development is that. I unfortunately don't have the time as much as I wish to put into some of that.
That's amazing what he's doing.
But when I hear economic development, to me, it's you are getting people that are not in town or they live in town, but they don't own the business in town to actually go bring tax revenue, commercial and industrial, into town. If we can take that statement of how do you bring more tax revenue, commercial or industrial, into town, that should be almost our charter, is how do you keep doing that? And it's not easy. That's why people have full-time careers doing this, and that's not us at the table, but we're volunteers. But with that being said, somebody like Bob's done an amazingly good job. How do we scale that? How do we get more of that? That's, I think, up to us to figure out how do we contribute to that. And I don't have the right answer on that.
Well, if Bob's got 400 numbers to call, there's 3 of us.
No, Bob doesn't have 400 numbers to go. Bob had a few close relationships and very persistent with 2 specific people that all of a sudden blossomed into the right direction.
Should we find 400 numbers to call?
I don't know if that's worth it. Is 400 numbers the right thing? I don't know. I mean, I think this is where the CMRPC thing comes in. I think if we focus on with Dominique to figure out what's the right properties, which we know, it's the North Street Gilboa one. There's a small one on West Street, right?
Up North Street a ways near the Sutton border,
There's that one, which is always a weird one up there, but there's that one. So there's not, but I would say if we focus on even 2 of them, the North Street Gilboa and the Route 16 Webster area, if you focused on those 2, and then we converted that into a marketing campaign, back to how do we go attract business. If it's more of a targeted marketing campaign for those 2 things, and then you find a listing of developers that might be interested, that might be probably a good use of our time, is to go do that. And that could be some of the funding spending if we want to. Could we do targeted economic development for those specific properties? But I'd like to hear Dominique's stance on that, because that's what they know best. We don't know that well. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, now that I've got some time, I'm going to go back and look at that report. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah. There you go. Now you're retired, so.
Yeah, and we get some good ideas from it again.
Now we have 2 retired people, because Carol's part-time, I guess. But Carol always has something going on.
Yeah, I
So,
still have one job going on, but it's
Oh, there you go.
not too often, a couple days a month.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, sir.
So that was all I had on the agenda today. Anything else you guys want to add?
Let me just make sure I capture everything we want. You're going to post the updated study on
I'm
the
going to
town
post it when I receive the updated CMRPC study. I will add you guys to the email thread with Dominique so you guys can help drive that.
Yep.
And we will come up with ideas for the next meeting that might be interesting ways to utilize our budget to drive economic development things. My gut tells me, for myself at least, my ideas will probably be circled around where Dominique goes with her phase 2, and can we help fund some of that. I think that's kind of where my head's been at, but let's see if there's anything else that pops in our head that would be really interesting. I'd love to see an ROI on how we use the budget, right? If we're going to spend it,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose it and spend it. I want to spend it with the knowledge that on the other side there should be some return that we're expecting.
Right.
Yeah, and if we get a report like that, which has cost us some money, we may as well post it.
Yep.
Use it to, or show it to people.
The good thing, this one has not cost us money. Keep that in mind. This was the state funding us.
Yeah, but it's our money.
Okay, yeah,
State
I'll agree with you
taxpayers,
that one. I won't disagree with that one. But the state, the town itself, out of current budget, we did not have to spend money.
Right, we didn't
Thank
have
God.
to take it out of our own.
So,
Was there an action item that you wanted to capture, Paul, for visiting Wolf Solar? Is that something that we want to note down as we're actually
I'm
gonna do
meeting
it?
with them Friday, but you guys are more than welcome. If you want to do it in a write-up for Facebook, I'll first of all, I have to add you as an admin, by the way. But we can post that. I'm game for that. That's a no-brainer.
Is that something
Yeah,
you wanna
just
do?
take a few pictures of the place and maybe talk to them.
Yeah.
When you're meeting with them, it's.
They're
is
coming
it-
to my house, so I'm gonna go because right up the street. He was just gonna stop by and say hi. But if you want to do more of a formal thing, then I can let him know, and we can roll in there and maybe do more of an article-ish interview style thing.
Bad boys, bad boys. Just roll it.
Whatever you want.
Big old camera.
You can go into
Check
that.
out your business.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to do that, but it was a lot of work too, to get
They
it
are a lot of
posted and to write up.
Well, the
something.
posting's not hard, it's the write-up. The write-up is probably the most work out of all this.
Yeah,
So.
because when I wrote something up, I emailed it off, is this okay?
And then we went back and forth. And,
Yeah, I go back and forth, yeah, it's
Yep.
okay, so. Yeah, we did the water slides, and we did some of the.
Flower shop.
Yeah,
At the time.
House of Pizza and all the other places, Gregory's,
Yep.
or the pizza joints. Anyhow, that was, it would be good to do that again, but.
Yeah, we can get one in. If you guys want to jump into solar, I'll when I talk to him on Friday, I can email you guys after I'm done with them and let you know.
when you talk
Wolf
to
got
them,
an
see
E
if-
on it?
Huh?
Does Wolf have an E on it or no?
No,
WLF?
WOLF, I think, right?
Maybe, I don't actually remember.
Wolf.
I could picture the sign because the sign's all solar panels. I just can't picture what goes after it.
So what are you gonna do, put solar panels on your house, or you just gonna?
No, I always investigate solar every 3 to 5 years. So it's a cost discussion, right? Anything with solar is cost. Is it worth it or not?
Right, you're gonna pay off.
At some point, solar comes down in price. When it hits a certain point, it becomes financially feasible.
Let's see if he's interested in
Yeah.
us doing a little blurb
Right
and
up.
putting it on our Facebook page, and if
I
he
can do that.
says yes, have him look at it, what we've got up there, if he wants.
I'll do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Then-
Anything else,
yes,
or
then email us and
yeah,
we'll take that on as a task.
we can definitely
I
do that.
will.
Anything else you guys want, or do we want to close out this meeting?
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.